Welcome to the first episode of Table Talk. I'm Kessyl.
And I'm Carol.
Well, you must be wondering, what is this all about? Well, this is a new show that we are studying. We talk about the hottest topic. It could range from like sports or like, the trendy topics in recent weeks, or like education, or just anything you guys might suggest to us. And at times it might and sometimes we'll get like interviews on the shows, experts like just talking about certain topics, or sometimes it might just be the two of us bickering back and forth.
Yeah, we're still trying to work out how this will work. So this is our first episode, so just bear with us. We're trying out some new ideas. And I think for two girls, it's pretty reasonable that we talk about some gossipy news, more on the gossipy side, right?
And so for our start today, we will be talking about two of the most pretty, like, prominent women in the United States, and that's none other than Kylie Jenner and Demi Lovato. So two of them have it's like a different topic, but Kylie, she just recently got plastered onto Forbes magazine's cover page as the youngest ever self-made billionaire, with a lot of saying, like, some people are saying like, oh no, because like she comes from like a well-off family, so maybe she's not the youngest self-made billionaire. And as for Demi Lovato, as you can see in the picture, she's the one on the left. On Tuesday, she just recently got hospitalized for an apparent drug overdose. She's always been really vocal about her addiction and her struggles. She even made a song out of it called Sober, where she talked about being sober. And I listened to the music video, and personally I feel like, wow, it's really raw and like talk about her struggles. And she has a documentary. It's called, what is it called? Simply Complicated, on YouTube. And she was like, you know what, I don't want to use my voice only for singing, but I want to use my voice to talk about something important like this too.
Yeah, I mean, before you told me about this, I had no idea that she actually had a drug addiction problem. I just remember her songs and like how lively she looked in her videos and how talented she is. But I guess before we get into that, we're going to talk about Kelly first, right?
Yes, we're going to talk about Kylie Jenner first. So I think a lot of people know her, right? But some of them might be wondering, like, who is Kylie Jenner? So she is the youngest member of the Kardashian-Jenner family. So they are like the famous Kardashian. I'm sure a lot of us have heard about this family because apparently their show, Keeping Up with the Kardashian, runs in like 160 countries.
Yeah, I mean, I have to be honest, I've never been a big fan, like a diehard fan of the show, but every once in a while, it's kind of like your guilty pleasure, right? You wanna have a peek into the life of the super riches and then see how they live their life and how just extravagant they can be with like very little details in their lives. Like,
it's just a lot of drama though.
Yeah. I guess for us, I guess secretly everyone wants a little bit of drama, even though it might not bring you the best energy, but watching the show, it just is fun, and I don't know, I've never really noticed her. Did you notice her when you were watching the show?
Oh, when I was watching the show, no, because when the show was just starting, she was only like 10 years old, so she's like the youngest in the family, and she's not the dramatic one because maybe she's young, so she's a bit quiet.
Yeah.
But until later, like, she built her own empire called Kylie Cosmetics. That's why she's featured on the Forbes magazine. So in fact, it began as an online business selling her lipstick for only like $29. I mean, I heard about it. It's all over the social media, like on Instagram, and it's like, oh, $29. I think it's not that expensive, right? For girls to really
You mean for one lipstick is $29? I can't really argue that it's on the cheap side, but I think for a really well-known brand, I think $29 it's
because it has a name on it, like Kylie, like, oh wow, Kylie, so $29, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get it at ColourPop. It's another brand, it's like $6, but again, it's Kylie, so it's another
It's kind of like I guess if you like her, you've been watching her, then yeah, if you're a fan, then I think it would be reasonable that you pay $29 for a lipstick. And I mean, you just can't ignore her lips.
Yeah,
can you?
Yes, but before we jump into talking about her lips, so her being featured on the front cover of Forbes magazine, they were saying, according to the article, they were saying like it started off as selling her lipstick for $29, right? And then the company has sold more than $630 million worth of makeup since, including an estimated $330 million in 2017 alone.
I don't know how much that is.
It's a lot of money, but it is projected to rake about 1 billion in lifetime sales by 2022.
Right.
So plus she owns like 100% of it. So apparently there's no other investors. So
I did not know she owns 100% of it.
So apparently it's all her
Everything
money.
goes
Maybe
to
her mom, like Kris Jenner, right?
I believe she I think she takes 10% of the earning just for like managing her, but I guess she has like everything, like all the
because
percentage.
it's under her name and everything. But added to that, like she's earning millions of dollars from their own TV programs and her brand Kendall and Kylie, I believe, with her sister in PacSun and like some Puma advertisement. But she said this, like, social media is an amazing platform. She said, quote, I have such easy access to my fans and my customers. I used to follow her on Instagram, but I stopped following because I feel like it's not that I like her, but sometimes I feel like I don't really need this kind of things in my life. At least at this moment.
What do you mean this kind of things?
She's cool, I like her, I'm not judging, but I feel like sometimes you don't need certain noises in your life, like more selfies, more consumerism, or more thick lips. She's pretty, don't get me wrong, but for now, this is not what I want. I used to follow her for like, ever since I started using Instagram, like all her family, but I just unfollowed all of them because this is not what I need right now.
Right, and I remember actually seeing her once in person. I was at New York Fashion Week. I think the show was for Vera Wang, and I just remember people were rushing towards this girl. She's actually really petite. Like I think she's like shorter than me, probably like around here. And like, people were just taking photos of her crazy. And I looked at her. I wasn't really sure who I was looking at because I watched the show when I was younger, but she looked very different back then. And like she was all dolled up and she looks really pretty. And then later on, I realized it was her. By the time, I didn't know like she would one day be on Forbes magazine, being the first cellmate. Young like women billionaire. And I remember the day the news came out, I was checking my Instagram and I saw this really, do you follow the Fat Jewish?
No, I don't.
Okay, so it's a really interesting Instagram account. So they just like a lot of memes. They make fun of people, and because you know how people debate about how she's not a truly self-made millionaire. I mean billionaire to be correct. And so he actually started a campaign of how we should, Kickstarter. So he started a Kickstarter to basically finish it, the last $1 million that he needs to raise to make her a billionaire. Does that make sense? I think she's like that much, just like that close to becoming a billionaire. So just to be fun and make fun of it, he started a Kickstarter for people to like donate to make her a billionaire, which I thought was a really fun twist of it. But just like the whole thing, I don't know. What do you think? Do you feel like she deserved to be on Forbes?
I don't think I have a say, but I just feel like anybody who is successful, they deserve it. Because they must have worked hard, right? To, like, she built this company, like, okay, her family is well off, they are rich and famous, but she made use of it instead of like, just like sitting back and like, okay, my family's rich, so I'm not gonna do anything. But she actually started her own company called Kylie Cosmetics. Yeah, but we were talking about the show, right? It's called Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Right. And like you said, you have watched it, I've watched it too. Yeah. It's just like,
I wouldn't say I grew up with it because it's daily, like on national TV. So I will watch it and it's like I enjoy the drama and then like how a family works. But later on I grew up, of course, and I realized, okay, it's all just a show. Maybe it's exaggerated, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure most of the reality show, it's real, but at the same time, it's a little scripted, right? Because you want to make sure that your life is not too boring. You have certain factors in terms of drama, so people will want to watch it. So, but at the end of the day, I think it doesn't really matter how they got there. They are all really smart business women.
Yeah.
And to my surprise, because when the news came out, we all did a coverage on this. And I remember reading the facts and realized she's actually richer than Kim Kardashian and her sister, the model. What's her name? Yeah. So and she being the youngest, she's only 20 and she just had a baby.
Yeah,
like talk about like accomplishment in like all different ways.
It must be really tough, right? She's like what, 20, turning 21 this year.
Yeah.
So I mean, yo. Okay.
But catch up.
I know, but I really love what Marianne Contour, she posted on her Instagram. If we can bring up on the screen, an Instagram post by Marianne Contour. She was lashing back at her Kylie Jenner's haters, and she said, if we can pull it up on the screen. Yes, that's right. She said, a lot of people seem to have an issue with Forbes cover of Kylie Jenner saying she's not self-made because her parents have money. I'm sorry, but stop hating. She has successfully built a cosmetics line where many others have failed. How many already rich celebs and children of billionaires have started and failed at their businesses? Give credit where credit is due. And I may not have always agreed with everything the family does, but I most certainly admire how they have built and sustained a huge empire, despite so much hate from society. Well done, Kylie Jenner. Now, how good is her makeup? I really need to get my hands off on it. Triple clap. So I think she said it all. Like that's what I personally feel. Like I have no like personal like hate or whatever towards the family, like oh because they're rich, so you're like jealous. But everybody has their own life, and I'm sure her life is tough with like, you know, her baby and her relationship. It was with Tyga, and then now months later she has this baby with Travis Scott. I'm like, no, I thought she was supposed to marry Tyga, but okay, there's that.
Yeah, that adds to drama. I think, the reality show just continues.
Yeah, but according to a news journal called The Woman's Wear Daily, her post on Instagram, one post cost $1 million.
So if you want her to make a post about your product,
advertisement, yes, it's like $1 million because she has like 111 million subscribers. Like we can see in pictures like her body after giving birth in February. You say her daughter Stormy, like. Can we pull out the pictures of her body? It's just like, it's so good. Like she's super slim, and look at her body if we can see it. Yes. So this is an advertisement she did for a like a curving thing you do for your waist.
Like a corset?
Yeah, a corset. So they are saying like a post like this is $1 million on her Instagram.
Wow.
Yep, just a selfie in the mirror.
Well, if my selfie is in the mirror,
cost $1 million.
I'll be happy just for $5.
You don't need to work anymore. And look at her body after giving birth to a baby Stormy in February. It's July now, so it's like what, 5 months? Do the math.
Right.
And it's so good. Like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Super good.
They definitely have different standards for a lot of different things, and body image. They just I think that's part of the brand. Yeah. And you can see she's really working hard for her money, her audience. Yeah.
Okay, so that's it for Kylie. We're just gonna move on to Demi Lovato. So Demi Lovato, she was hospitalized earlier Tuesday after an apparent drug overdose, but she's recovering now, and today it's Friday. And CNN has actually acquired a seemingly redacted recording of a 9/11 call. As there's an unidentified caller, she or he can be heard saying that we just need to get somebody out here. Then she, seemingly out of a desire for privacy, the caller tells the dispatcher like, wait, no sirens please. And then the dispatcher responded like, no, this is a medical emergency. Like he doesn't have control over that, and this is definitely a medical emergency, and we need to get there as fast as possible. So the paramedics later found Demi Lovato, who is 35 years old this year. She was unconscious at her home. But the pop star has been really outspoken with her battle with like substance abuse, which is cocaine, and living with bipolar disorder, and she also has like eating disorder. But she has been sober for like 6 years, and then after that she revealed that after 6 years she actually relapsed again, and I think she fell back into substance abuse and addiction again. And she sang in a song called Sober, where like I told you, I watched the video, it's just like really raw, like it's so, she's being so transparent. And she was saying like how she, in the lyrics she said like how she only wants to be a human, she wants to be a role model, but she's only a human. And the song lyrics also read like, quote, we've been down this road before, I'm so sorry, I'm not sober anymore. I'm sorry that I'm here again. I promise I'll get help. So the family members also said that some of the information being reported is incorrect, and they, of course, respectfully ask for privacy and not speculation, as her health and recovery is the most important thing right now. So she has a documentary on YouTube called Simply Complicated, when she mentioned that she wants to be a voice for matters like this. And so if we can watch the interview right now.
Well, you know, for me, it's about drugs and alcohol being the problem. Well, through our relationship, it started out with my problems being with drug and alcohol addictions. And I realized I had a problem, and so I reached.
Hi, we're back. So, I got caught off guard.
I'm like, whoa! I'm like literally facing my life. Like, oh.
Okay, so we are not supposed to laugh at the matter. Yeah, it's not appropriate. But I never watched the documentary.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to?
I just like watched like snippets of it, but it's just like her being really real, and just being her. Like, I feel a lot of times we are just like, oh, she's artists, singers. You're like, oh wow, their life is really glamorous, but I mean, everybody is just human, right? They have struggles like a normal human being too. And yeah, it's just like I was shocked because I didn't know she was on drug addiction, and she's been sober for like 6 years until like I watched the news. I'm like, oh, so this was her story. Because I follow her on Instagram, and she seems so like bubbly and like happy and like really positive, like, and really vocal.
Yeah, my like I mentioned earlier, how I knew about her was just beginning of this year. I was driving and I heard her song on the radio, and I thought it was a really good song. So
is it like Sorry Not Sorry?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's such a good song. Like so beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, she's super talented. Like on Twitter, like stars like Ariana Grande and Ellen DeGeneres is like they felt really sorry and like sending love as she's recovering back at home.
Yeah.
So that's your earliest memory of her?
Yeah, actually, I didn't know her before the beginning of this year. And then I started to listen to a lot of her songs. I thought she was really talented, and she looked like she has everything. You know, like you can wish for in life at such a young age.
Yes.
I guess for someone like me, I'll never be able to fully understand why so many talented artists at such young age, when it feels like they have everything on their palms, that they want to do something that would hurt themselves, or like why would they just not be happy?
Yeah, I mean, like
very complicated.
Yeah, it's like Kate Spade as well. I mean, she's not an artist, but she's a designer, and I buy her brands like when I was away from America. I'm like, oh my goodness, Kate Spade, like such beautiful products, and of course the designer is Kate Spade, and it's like she must be talented, beautiful, happy, but who would have known she took a life, right? So it's just things like this.
I think when you are more on the creative side, sometimes you get, I guess you're more romantic and more emotional in a way. So I think that just kind of comes as a combo as being like a true artist. Which is kind of sad in a way. But
I remember my earliest memory of her when I was young. I was watching Camp Rock. I'm not sure if you have heard of that movie, but it's called Camp Rock. It's like a high school kind of movie. Like I think it came out the same time around High School Musical. So she was there in that movie with like the Jonas Brothers, and then she was like the most favorite song out of that movie for me is because it's called This Is Me, and she sings so well, super well. And
well, I hope that she recovers smoothly at home or in hospital. And addiction is hard, no matter what kind of addiction it is. But I think with good people around you, especially as she has a lot of fans supporting her, I think, hopefully she'll get back on track.
Yeah, so people fall, they're gonna get up, and it will be okay. But we are sending her love too. If she sees us, but she's gonna get there. I believe.
I believe so too.
Yep. So that's it for Demi. So we're gonna jump into our last topic of the day, just to end it lightly and not in a sad story. But so I'm sure a lot of you have heard about the In My Feelings challenge. Actually, I've said it on my Instagram, but I've never really because a lot of people are doing it, so I'm not really a fan of like, oh, let's jump on the bandwagon and like do what everybody else does. But I was like, okay, that's cool. And then you told me, I'm like, oh, so this was a challenge.
Yes. So it's I first saw it obviously on Instagram, and I was just a little confused. I don't know, like if. Because it feels like sometimes the car's moving, sometimes the car's not. And sometimes, you know, like in some countries, you drive on the left and sometimes you drive on the right. And sometimes people would just be driving and then they'll jump out of the car and start dancing. And then the car would just roll by itself. So I'm just not really sure how, like, logistically and technically they were able to have it done. So that was that's like the initial thing that got me to watch it. And then the more I watch it, it's like, oh, okay, so this is a challenge. And people have different moves and yeah.
So can we play the video so they will know what we are talking about? The last video.
Oh shit.
So that was it, and so it's basically like thousands of fans worldwide who's a fan of Drake. It's actually Drake's new song that was in his new album dropped a month ago. It's called Scorpion. So that song is called In My Feelings, and then people are basically just hopping out of their cars and dancing to this particular song. And actually it's so funny, it's not funny, actually this is funny to us, like it's just like a trend, right? But actually the National Transportation Safety Board, who is a federal agency like responsible for investigating transportation accidents, they're asking people to stay in their car. According to USA Today, like the chief of media relations at the NTSB saying like, when we saw this trend, we wanted to remind people what should be common sense to not hop out of a moving vehicle. The dance floor, yes, the dance floor is the right place for dance move, not our nation's roads and highways. He also added that in 2016, more than 30,007 people were killed on our nation's roads, and that 10% of those were related to distracted driving. He also described the challenge as a form of distracted driving because, well, the people are not focusing. But maybe they are doing it at their roadside, but still, it's like, I find that pretty amusing, but I mean, yes, it's probably dangerous, so if you want to do it, it's cool, but maybe you shouldn't, you know? It's like the selfie thing, like people died from selfie, and this is just like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think it's fine if it's in a parking lot and there's no other cars.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's fine. Just be aware of your surrounding, and I'm sure most people are fine with it. I'm still a fan of the challenge.
Yeah. I mean, I love the new album though. Have you listened?
No.
But after this show, she will. Okay.
Yeah.
But I guess that's all we have for today.
Okay, not bad for the first episode.
I know, but thanks so much for joining us. Like. Again, we are trying here and there about what we should be talking about and in the future what we are looking at. But if you ever have any topics that you want us to discuss or even like talk to us about it, you can always tweet us at, my account is Kessyl, like hey, Hey, and Kessyl, Kessyl, and hers is
Summer C4.
Yeah, like Summer and a C and a 4. So
you can always tweet to us, and
that's all the time we have. We'll catch you in the next episode.
Bye.